for me, I've never been like a super PC guy. Like, I know what you're saying. I know if you're trying to be mean or not. You know, the reason I don't like the M word is a lot of time I hear like sports people use it, or like football players, they use it in a derogatory way. So it's like, so when someone will say, "Why are you so offended?" I'm like, I'm not offended, but like, you know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like when you hear it, sometimes people use it to criticize someone if you're on the basketball court. So it's like, that's why you have given it meaning. You know, you have given it the negative meaning almost. Right. But even like the word dwarf, I think is going to be outdated in 10 years.
Really?
Someone just 2 days ago at the lake said something. This lady's like, hey, so like, are you a dwarf? Like, is that, you know? And when she said dwarf, I wanted to say, I'm a little person. You know what I'm saying? So like, even so words have different meanings through different years. Little People of America started out, or a version of LPA started out by M People of America. You know what I'm saying? Like back in 1930.
Oh, really?
No
so
way.
Like, it's like words change over time.
Yeah.
You know,
people ruin it.
Yeah, honestly, but that's my thing. Is like, why don't I like that word? Because typically people. But yeah, if some guy was like, hey, Zach has the mail. Who's Zach? Oh, it's the the M that lives across the street. Oh yeah, okay, you're describing me, whatever. Yeah. But
you just
again,
haven't been educated.
I've heard the word enough times where I'm like, it's on the soccer field or whatever. You're trying to hurt me. If that's the word you think about when you want to hurt me, you know what I'm saying? That's why.
Then I don't like it.
That's why it's not a great word, you know. So I don't know. It's a backward. Some people are super a little bit more about it. But Tori and me have been educated even ourselves. I keep trying to say people with dwarfism because it's not
like
Zach the dwarf.
Language.
It's Zach the person with dwarfism.
Yeah.
So it is like a language thing that like again, not a super big PC person, but I do feel how like when I say it I'm like
mindset.
that is a good for someone that doesn't know and then they don't just think of me as like, oh, the dwarf. Or anyone. It's the person with dwarfism. So.
Yeah, they teach that in education. I'm sure you know that too. Like being a teacher, like the people first language. It goes for like so many different areas. It just kind of like dignifies the person first before you're like, okay.
And it doesn't defy the person first. You know? Like it gives them a chance to defy themselves instead of.
Yes.
You know.
That's so interesting to you saying that the LPA convention started off with a completely different name that had the M word. That is interesting to me because it does show how language changes over time. Is the term little person, is that what we're seeing be like the most commonly used term?
I think most people, if you go to LPA and say, hey, how would you want to be referred, I feel most people will say I'm a little person. You know what I'm saying? Like or they'll say like their idea now is like I'm Zach. Like, how would you want to describe your condition? So it's like sometimes people take it a little farther.
But it's still hard. Like, where were we just the other day? Oh, we were at the mall, and he like went into a store, and I was looking for him. I couldn't find him, and it is still just this awkward. Like, what do you say to people? This lady goes like, "Oh, who are you looking for?" And I go, "Oh, my husband." And I wanted to be like the short guy, you know, but like it's like kind of awkward when you tell.
And I've been around
it for 10 years.
It gets things done quick. Be like, he's the shortest guy in the store.
Where
is he? Like, boom, done. Like, okay, we need to get moving.
But it is still just like weird.
Yeah. So. I don't know, language has like that. I'm gonna go back to the Snow White thing real quick. Is there sometimes when people make such a stink about something though, and then you get almost pushed aside. So if we get so offended, you know what I'm saying? Like certain minority groups, I feel like then they go, we just don't want to deal with that. So we're just gonna sidestep it. You know what I'm saying? Or like I don't want to even invite you on a podcast or something because I don't want to like have to feel like I have to navigate those waters, and you're gonna. You know what I'm saying a little bit. So it's like sometimes that's my philosophy on all that. Like, assume good intent. You know what I'm saying. Don't get too up about it because then most people will just like, hey, we don't want to deal with that. We don't understand it, and it's easier just to get someone else because we don't want to be canceled or we don't want to be. It's like so it's this navigation a little bit and educating, but also like having grace for people, especially if someone grew up somewhere where they've never seen someone like that. Like, okay, they're not going to know the right language. Like, that's totally normal. I don't know the right language for all the minority groups. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a normal thing, you know, so.
That's really good of you to like hold that grace and be open to questions and stuff like that.
Yeah, I respect that a lot too, because I think you're right. I think a lot of people, most people, I mean, there are truly horrible people out there in our world, but like I think, you know,
most people want to do the right thing.
I look at our society as like a bell curve. Like, did you guys ever take statistics where it's like most people on a bell curve are like most people are the same, right? The majority of people are all like pretty like chilling here in the average area. But then you got those outliers. So you have the people that are like really freaking good, like the Mother Teresas of the world who are so nice. But then you got like the psychopaths that like do unspeakable things. So I don't know, but I think you're right. Most people don't have like, they're not out to you know.
Yeah, we allow one psychopath to like dictate. Like I could be here I've had a great experience in Tennessee, but like one person come up to me, be rude, and then people will say Tennesseans are so mean. It's like, no, you had one interaction, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like we do that. We allow those outliers to dictate how we talk and act, when really, you know, everyone's pretty the same, more on the same wavelength than what we feel like, what I feel like is told to us by media or whoever else.